Hello, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to share some guidance for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. That's Friday the 4th, the 5th and the 6th of October. So I trust you're well, and I trust that things have been smooth sailing for you this week. Extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light family, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thanks so much for your support. Hi Lawrence, hi Nicole, lovely to see you. So if you're new to watching, hi Chelsea, if you're new to watching, welcome. What I'm going to be doing is using my combined deck of cards here, and I'm going to be looking for the best card for Friday, the best card for Saturday, the best card for Sunday, and then the best card for the theme for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So I'm not doing personal requests for guidance here today. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust that you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared will help support you at this time. So just remember to take on board what feels right, what resonates, what makes sense to you, and let the rest go. So I trust that everything's good. It's been a very interesting week. I've been doing lots of creating, lots of ceramics and dropping cards here, and pendants and things. So it feels good to have just come off 3 days of just creating, which has been great. And I'm taking a break from my bands because I was in 3 bands, and that's a couple of hours rehearsal every week for each band. So I'm really enjoying the extra time too that I've got now. So we'll see what happens. So the best card now for Friday, the 4th of October. If it's not quite Friday for you yet, you can think of this as guidance in advance. So Friday the 4th of October, I trust this is the best card for the majority of us. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card, and it's the Frog card 34, and it says down here to cleanse your environment. So this is your inner environment and your outer environment, to consider what needs clearing, cleansing, purging in our life around us or inside our body. So if our body's been feeling heavy and sluggish and uncomfortable lately, well, it may be important for us to consider some type of detox. I know for me, my body responds really well to lemon water or apple cider vinegar in water. So if I'm feeling a bit heavy and uncomfortable in my body, I'll usually drink lemon water or apple cider vinegar for a few days, and that tends to help clear out my my inner body, if you like. So you probably know, hopefully, what your body likes for its own clearing. So if you need that, then it might be a good time to step that up and take some action with it on Friday. If your outer environment, if your home, your workplace, your circle of friends or people you connect with has become a bit negative or heavy lately, then you may be clearing some things out on that outer sort of level. So you will know what this relates to if it's a guidance for you, because there's probably something that you've been thinking about purging or clearing lately. So Friday's a very supportive day to take action on clearing and cleansing or purging. So I trust that makes sense for you and supports your Friday. Thank you so much. Now let's look for the best card for Saturday, the 5th of October. Saturday the 5th. And the best card for Saturday is this. It's another Animal Kingdom Oracle card, and it's this. It's the Cockatoo. The Cockatoo is card 47, and it says to be compromising. So we might find that a situation or something comes up potentially on Saturday where we're being called to find a compromise. Also, this card's been coming up quite a bit lately in regards to us compromising with ourselves. And I know it sounds a bit strange, but I've noticed that, and especially lately, that a lot of us tend to be a bit uncooperative with ourselves. So how can we, ensure that we are listening to our body, for example, and following what our body needs? Our body's very finely tuned. It's very instinctual. So our body is very connected with what we need for our body to survive. And then sometimes we have this strong mental power and this mental energy that's trying to overrun or control what our body's needing. So it's about, I feel, finding a bit of a balance and compromising what we might think we need for what our body needs. So I feel like this sort of honouring and listening to our body feels really important for Saturday. And thinking about what we might need to compromise in our life for our own health and well-being. There's also a vocal element to the cockatoo and a social element to the cockatoo. So we might find Saturday quite favourable for speaking up or speaking out or just having conversations. We might find Saturday quite favourable for gathering with other people that we can perhaps have a good conversation around. So that's the cockatoo for Saturday. Be compromising. So let's see how that fits as we flow into our Saturday. So now I'm looking for the best card for Sunday, the 6th of October. So let's see. Just think of this as a guide only, and just know that I try and be here as much as I can, but there are some days that I don't get in for a video for whatever reason. There can be a whole list of reasons, from me just not having enough time that day to me not feeling like I want to be here and to share. This is a very public thing, and for the last week or so there's been a fair bit of attack around with me putting myself out there in this way. So when I'm feeling a bit vulnerable, sometimes I just want to sort of step back into my cave and not be out in or sharing in this way. So there's various reasons why I don't be here. So sometimes I get emails from people very upset because I didn't do a video on their birthday, or I might have missed a day or something. Please know that I'm the one in control of when I want to be here. And there's sometimes going to be days I'm not here. That's okay. So I trust that that's okay. I wouldn't like you to rely on these anyway. So hopefully you can get out your own deck of cards and pull some cards for yourself on that odd day or two when I might not be here. So Sunday the 6th of October, the best card is this. It's another Animal Kingdom Oracle card. It's a featured timing card, which is the Stellar Cycle. It has further instructions here which say to take the 4th card from the top of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Speed of Light. Hold on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4. This Speed of Light Oracle. It's Overlapping Worlds. Okay, we have these two cards have come up for Sunday. So we're going to look at them separately, and then we're going to look at their relationship together. It's card 55 called Stellar Cycle. And it says 1 year. So this talks about 1 year, approximately a year, not a year to the date or the minute, but in general, a sense of a year, or we could say long term. So we're being guided on Sunday, and some of us might be thinking in the long term. In fact, a lot of us are at the moment, aren't we? We're clearing space in our life to bring new things in. We're starting to set new plans up. Like for me, I'm really wanting to take my ceramics so seriously when my kiln starts working, that I'm actually starting a website. I'm working behind the scenes to start putting all my ceramics on its own website. That's how seriously I want to take my ceramics. So I'm looking at that in the long term. You might be looking at things too right now in the long term. I mean, past the rest of this year. You might be thinking about, okay, how am I going to take this next year? So what's my plan as I step into 2020? I'll be 44 in 2020, and I think that's so cool. I'm really looking forward to 2020. It just feels like a great year. And the card that came with this, so this is connected somehow, so we'll look at that in a second. This is card 23, called Overlapping Worlds. The key words down here say reception, senses, beacon, frequency, and veil. Now this is talking about us perhaps feeling on Sunday like we're in between things. So I call this a time of transition. So this is where we're sort of in between things. We might have had a door closed and we're waiting for the door to open. So we're sort of stuck in this, or not stuck, but we're sort of hovering in limbo perhaps, but in this hallway waiting for the new door to open. There's also a feeling here of having the old door hasn't quite shut yet and the new door hasn't quite opened yet. So there's a feeling of sort of having being like doing the splits a little bit, dealing with the old and trying to prepare the new. So there's sort of a transitionary period that it feels like a lot of us are in, and that's what this card is about. So it's about that sort of limbo, transitionary sort of feeling where our worlds are overlapping. We're sort of starting to bring the new in while we're sorting the old out. So, you know, it can be uncomfortable. We can feel, especially when we're dealing with the old stuff, we can feel that all we want to do is just bring the new in now because we're so motivated and excited for it. But there are perhaps some things we're tying up to as far as our old world and the parts of the old door that we're closing. So it depends which part of that you're personally in, will depend on what perhaps you need to do to support your journey through. I think some things to remember when we're in a transitionary period is that they are temporary. So if you're in a feeling of limbo, especially on Sunday, if you're feeling directionless or that something's not happening as quickly as you would like, for example, it's a good reminder to remind ourselves that it is temporary. It's a temporary, transitional, limbo kind of phase. So we're in between things, we're in between worlds. We might find ourselves a little bit more sensitive too than usual. But the antidote feels to this, to help give us some direction, is this card, which is the 1 year long-term plan. And it might be something for us to consider on Sunday if we're inspired to actually perhaps sit down and get down onto paper what we've been thinking about, maybe what we're going to do next year or what we're going to do in the long term. And that will help perhaps pull us out of that sort of limbo period and into that new that we want to step into. So to help with this, let's consider our long-term plan, our long-term goal, perhaps starting to get organised, apply for things, register for study, whatever it might be that we're drawn to do, so that we can have, it feels like a bit of direction going as we now wind up this last year and wind up this decade, really, and step into a whole new decade. What do we want to create for ourselves? So maybe some things to think about, and we might have already been thinking about them, but the energy is especially important on Sunday, revolving around this, if you like, for us to maybe make time to make a list, set some goals into place, and really think about, okay, what do I want to change for myself, and what do I want to create for my life now? Maybe we can reflect back and see that some things this year have been tough and tricky, and maybe there are some things that we have learned or maybe have expired in our life that we can close the door on so that we can step into some new energy coming forward. So it feels like we're preparing for the new year already. And I know I have been in that space. I don't know if you have been, but we'll see. That's a really good question, Josh. So Josh asks, is the written word really important? And why is it important? I'll tell you why it's important to me. It's important to me because I find it's a bridge between my thinking and how I feel inside. And it's a bridge between that and making, either letting something go or making something happen in my life. So from going from the thinking to action, sometimes is a big leap. So going from even thinking about my wounds and my problems, thinking about them so much in my head or in my body, maybe not even telling anyone or verbalizing it at all, and then going from that into taking action to let go, sometimes feels like a big distance. So I found over the years that by writing things down, it creates like that next stepping stone towards the action. So it's like a journey towards a manifestation, if you like. So we have the idea, the thought that goes on in ourselves, and we can take it to the next step by writing, verbalizing it, and then we're starting to see it as potential, as we're seeing it out of inside ourselves. So that takes it, then we've got that next stepping stone then to take the action if that's what we want to do. It works really well for me. It helps me get out of my head. It helps me express how I feel. And expression is also really important. But I know, like for Corey, my husband Corey, he's not a big writer, but he processes things in his head, and that works for him. It doesn't work so much for me. I tend to hold things in. I'm more of an expressive person, so me getting stuff on paper works for me. So it may not work for you, it may work for you. I guess what I would suggest is try it and see if it works for you or not. You might already know that your mind works in a different way and you just don't need to write things down, and that's okay. But if something you're doing now is not working for you and you're trying new strategies or finding new ways to express yourself, then why not try it? Try it for a month and see if it actually helps you process things and get things moving. So that's what I would suggest. I trust that's helpful. Oh, hold on, Maddie. I'm just doing a video. Can you go around the back door, please? Thank you. I'm not sure if the back door's unlocked, actually, Corey. So let's now look for the best card for the theme for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So the best card for the theme. This will help bring these days together and help us see the bigger picture for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So the best card for the theme is this. It's another Animal Kingdom. These are popular today. It is another featured card. So look, we're very much preparing and psyching ourselves up for the new year. This says take the third card from the top of the deck, which is this. Okay, this is our theme, card 54 and the doe. So I'm going to look at these again separately and then we'll look at their relationship together. So we've got another timing card. This timing card is talking about a seasonal cycle, which is 3 months. So we've just come off the equinox, so this is extra important. So talking about the next 3 months, which takes us up to the end of the year, being important. Important for what? Well, probably important for what I've already been talking about, which definitely ties in with that. But important too, connected with this card, which is card 41, the doe. And the doe simply says to feel deeply. So we're being inspired over Friday, Saturday and Sunday to make sure we're in a space of connection with how we feel. So really thinking about or asking ourselves the questions, or just even taking a few quiet moments, perhaps each of these 3 days, to check in and just see how we're feeling. How are we doing? And maybe also considering how we're feeling in regards to where do we feel we're going over these next few months? Where do we feel we're heading as we head into the new year? So we can still be in the moment while we're trying to feel upon and organise or set a goal for ourselves for the next few months to see the year, see the decade out, and then head into the new year. So our theme is to feel deeply this weekend and perhaps consider what we're going to do time-wise for the rest of the year. So are there new things that we may need to put into place that we've realised aren't working for us at the moment? I know for me, like I'm taking a break from at least one of the bands that I'm in for the rest of the year. And then I'm going to reassess it at the beginning of next year. So I can also see where this 3 months fits in, because we've got about that time to the end of the year, and also where the year long-term plan fits in too. The cat's coming to say hello. Hello. So I trust that resonates with you. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've used my combined Animal Kingdom Oracle cards with my Speed of Light. Only saw one of those today. But if you want to learn, look at them, all the Animal Kingdoms there. It's equal. There's 55 of each in there, but they're very dominant today. If you want to learn more about either of these decks, please have a look on my website at templeofbalance.com.au. Thank you so much. Corey and I will be in Melbourne. We're flying out Sunday morning and coming back Tuesday afternoon. So we won't really be about much, and so there'll be a bit of a delay in email reply and also orders going out until we get back. So just so that you know. I look forward to connecting with those of you who will be seeing on Sunday. So looking forward to catching up. And if you want to learn more about me and the work that I do at Temple of Balance, please visit my website at templeofbalance.com.au. I will try and do a video on Monday when we will be in Melbourne. So I'll probably do one on location. All going well. If not, I'll see you when I get back, but I'm sure I'll be able to pop in on Monday. So thank you, and have a great weekend. Lots of things to think about perhaps, and just because I've said it doesn't mean you have to do it. Just check in with yourself and make sure that the things that I've said perhaps, or things that you're curious about, if it feels right for you to explore them or think about those further, then please do. Don't do it just because I said it. Please don't do that. Just trust what you're feeling from it. So thank you so much. I will catch you and connect with you again soon. Thank you. Lots of love from my heart to yours. Namaste.